Hey, what's up guys, Bearded Coder here. So in this tutorial, I'll be walking you through basic Android components that are used to build Android apps. So let's start. So guys, these four are the basic Android app components. These are activities, services, broadcast receivers, and content providers. So first of all, activities. Activities are basically this a single screen in an Android application. So for example, if you take WhatsApp, so your list where all your contacts are being shown, it is an activity. Second is services. Services are also an important part of an Android application. These are basically of two types, background or foreground. So it depends on in your application which type of service do you want to use. So in background services, we generally try to get locations or different kind of things can be done. And third is the broadcast receivers. Broadcast receivers are also used to, for example, if you want to check if the physical device, if the battery is low on the device or not, or if the screen is switch on or switch off. So these kind of things can be done with broadcast receivers. One more thing that can be done is one can also get or send notifications with the help of broadcast receivers. Fourth are content providers. Content providers are used to pass data or query data between different apps and websites. So for example, if you want to get data from a specific database, you can use content providers. And it is also very important whenever you are building a big app. So guys, now I'll walk you through the Android lifecycle, the Android app lifecycle. So basically this is the main activity which refers to a single screen in your Android device, and the layout for this screen or this activity is here. As you can see, it's the .xml file, and you can see the layout here. The layout code is here. So if you want to see the first default method that has been created by the Android is the onCreate. So onCreate is the first method or the callback value that is called whenever an activity is started. So here I'll show you a simple flowchart of the Android lifecycle. So here you can see whenever an activity is launched, it first of all goes into onCreate. So in onCreate, you basically there is a set content view where you set a layout for this activity. Like we have set activity underscore main, that is this layout, to this main activity. So the layout is called in onCreate method of an activity. So here if you see, after onCreate comes the onStart. So onStart is not called for a much longer time. It is called for a very short time, and after onStart comes onResume. So onResume is an important method whenever you are using different things like animations in your Android app. So what you can do is you can call Android animations in this onResume method, because in onCreate your view is being created or being initialized, and in onResume your view is visible to the user. So it is good time to start your animations or some different kind of things that go in your layout, activities layout. So after this, your activity comes into the running state, that is the foreground state where a user can interact with the activity. So now let's take an example. If the user is using your activity, your app, and is in the main activity, and user decides to press the home button and go to some other app, for example Google Chrome. So what your app does is your activity goes into an on pause state. After going into the on pause state, it is minimized. So whenever the user comes back, it again goes to the on resume state. So the whole code runs again. So your animations, if you have put in any animations of in the app or some other things regarding the layout, so it gets called again and your activity is refreshed. And after that, if the app is in on pause state and the user just removes it from the recent apps, it goes into on stop method, and after that on destroy. Or if the user is using the app in the foreground and is interacting with the app, and after some time the user decides to switch off the app by pressing the back button, then these methods on pause, on stop and on destroy gets called, and after that the activity and the app gets shut down. So these methods, the on stop or on destroy, are very important, because sometimes if you're using any kind of service in the app, for example the app is fetching current location of the user, so what it will do is we'll have to deregister the listener, location listener for example, in the on stop or on destroy, because otherwise if we don't deregister the listener, it will give a crash and the activity will stop, or it will go into ANR mode. So these are methods are also important, and we have to place checks according to these methods. So it totally depends on the usage or the code that you have used in the app. So this is the activity lifecycle, and in future we'll be working with these life cycles. So guys, before going, I'll give you a small example of how to call these callbacks or these life cycles in your main activity class. So as you can see, onCreate method has already been called. So below this, I'll go ahead and type in onStart. There you go. So this is the onStart. Likewise, I'll just add onResume. Or you can add any other methods callback. Like I'll just add onStop, onDestroy. So these are the callback methods, and whenever you want to put a code, for example, you want to start an animation in onResume, so you will go ahead and put your code here, so that the Android app knows what code to run in which callback method. So yes guys, this was a brief tutorial about Android lifecycle and the core components. So please be sure to watch my next tutorials where I'll be building some great apps. So thanks guys.